was kind of interesting to me. The holder of the great hill named Govardhan, the beloved son of Mother Yasoda, and the delighter of the inhabitants of Braj. He wanders in the forests along the banks of the river Jamuna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 3rd canto, chapter 3, text 3. Please repeat. Or is it text 2?
Text 2, I believe.
Text 2, I'm sorry. You're right. Condition soul that I am. Thank you, Cody. Actually, I looked up there, but it looks like it's half erased.
Right. Exactly. It's a little unclear.
Please repeat. Sandapani.
Sandapani.
Sakrit.
Sakrit.
Proktam.
Proktam.
Sandapani. Sakrit Proktam.
Sandipani. Sakrit Proktam.
Brahmaditya.
Brahmaditya.
Sa Vishtaram.
Vishtaram.
Brahmaditya Sa Vishtaram.
Brahmaditya Sa Vishtaram.
Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Mitam Pancha Janodara. Mritam Pancha Janodara. Sandipaniya Sakrit Proktam. Brahmaditya Savishtaram. Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Mritam Pancha Janodara.
Sandipane Sakrit Proktam. Brahmaditya Savishtaram. Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Mritam Pancha Janodarat.
Sandipane Sakrit Proktam. Brahmaditya Savistaram. Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Mritam Pancha Janodara.
Sandipane Sakrit Proktam. Brahmaditya Savistaram. Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Mritam Pancha Janodara.
Sandipani Sakrit Proktam. Brahmaditya Savistaram. Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Mritam Pancha Janodara.
Sandipane Sakrit Proktam. Brahmaditya Savistaram. Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Mritam Pancha Janodara. Sandipane Sakrit Proktam. Brahmaditya Savistaram. Tasmai Pradad Varam Putram. Vritam pancha janodara.
Please repeat. Sandipane
Saripane
of Sandipani Muni.
of
Sandipani Muni.
Sakrit
Sakrit
once only.
once only,
Proktam
Proktam
instructed.
instructed.
Brahma
Brahma
all the Vedas
all the Vedas
with their different branches of knowledge.
which are different branches of knowledge.
Ahitya
Aditya
after studying.
after studying.
Savistaram
Savistaram
in all details.
in all details.
Tasmai
Tasmai
unto him.
unto him.
Pradat
Pradad
rewarded.
rewarded.
Varam
Varam
a benediction.
A
benediction.
Putram
Putra
his son.
his son,
Manitam
Vritam,
who was already dead.
who was already dead.
dead.
Panchajana
Panchajana,
the region of the departed souls.
the region of the departed souls.
soul.
Udarat
Udarat
from within.
from within.
Please repeat. Translation. The Lord learned all the Vedas
The Lord learned all the Vedas
with their different branches
with their different branches,
simply by hearing them once from his teacher,
simply by hearing them once from his teacher,
Sandipani Muni,
Sandipani Muni,
whom he rewarded
whom he rewarded
by bringing back his dead son
by bringing back his dead son
from the region of Yamaloka.
from the region of Yamaloka.
And I'll read that one more time. The Lord learned all the Vedas with their different branches simply by hearing them once from his teacher, Sandipani Muni, whom he rewarded by bringing back his dead son from the region of Yamaloka. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. No one but the Supreme Lord can become well versed in all the branches of Vedic wisdom simply by hearing once from his teacher. Nor can anyone bring a dead body back to life after the soul has already gone to the region of Yamaraj. But Lord Krishna ventured to the planet of Yamaloka and found the dead son of his teacher and brought him back to his father as a reward for the instructions received. The Lord is constitutionally well versed in all the Vedas, and yet to teach by example that everyone must go to learn the Vedas from an authorized teacher and must satisfy the teacher by service and reward. He himself adopted this system. The Lord offered his services to his teacher, Sandipani Muni, and the Muni, knowing the power of the Lord, asked something which was impossible to be done by anyone else. The teacher asked that his beloved son, who had died, be brought back to him, and the Lord fulfilled the request. The Lord is not, therefore, an ingrate to anyone who renders him some sort of service. The devotees of the Lord who always engage in his loving service are never to be disappointed in the progressive march of devotional service. Translation. The Lord learned all the Vedas with their different branches simply by hearing them once from his teacher, Sandipani Muni, whom he rewarded by bringing back his dead son from the region of Yamaloka. That would make a great movie. It really would. You know, we were in Huntsville, and we were at one of the colleges. And this was a college where we had to get it arranged 2 weeks before every time we wanted to have a program, every single time. And other colleges, we just show up. It was no problem in the free speech area. But I remember we used to distribute cookies also. And I just wandered in, because we had to use the restrooms also. And
Did you distribute those oatmeal cookies that you made?
at this time, I think I was doing more of Prabhupada cookies.
Oh,
We were trying to focus on Prabhupada cookies, more like maybe like a sugar cookie, you know. And they were pretty good size. Oh, you're talking about the kinds that I made?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
That was they're legendary.
wow. Yeah, well,
Literally.
Well, I mean, you're probably right. I mean, I wasn't making them yet at that time.
I could have started the whole business. I just did it as a gift to some people, and they all wanted it, and it was an awkward situation. They
Yeah.
had unbelievable cookies.
And
They're
they
like
kept,
little cakes.
they kept bugging you.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
wouldn't leave me alone. I said, well, he was after Katrina, so I told him, well, he's a famous pastry chef, and they called him back from New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember you ordered like 100 cookies, I think.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was cooking and cooking and cooking.
These things were just,
Yeah. I was happy to do it, probably. But, you know, of course, you're always very generous. You know, you paid me for all that. But, you know, I was thinking that it was really strange because at this college, I would walk by the classrooms, you know, and sometimes I'd just kind of like be outside looking in and see what's going on. And I was really amazed to see this, because I didn't know. Because I've always avoided computers and all this stuff, you know, and trying to stay away from them. I told you all that story that we were making the computers in this company. And it's a sad story to me because when I realized what we were making, because I was in maintenance. So you had free, you know, 3 plants, free access, we go wherever we want to go, keys to everything. But anyway, so these other guys, they pulled me over and he said, check this out, you know, at work. So you can imagine what they were showing me on the computer.
oh,
You know what I mean? They make billions of dollars off this every year, billions of dollars. Anyway, so I said, oh my God, I can't believe you guys are doing this at work, you know. And then I found out from another gentleman that he had 3 different personalities on the internet already, and this was back in the 90s. And that he was blackmailing one person. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. This is some stuff, you know. So anyway, but getting back to the college, I looked in, and what I saw was, you know, the students. I looked at the students. And back then, of course, nowadays they're probably on their phones, I guess, but they were like, some were half asleep, and some were like this. I didn't see one person that was interested in class. And there was about 7 or 8 people in there. That's about how many people were in there. And the instructors monotone, you know. And I was comparing in my mind, I was thinking about that just now, comparing to, you know, what Sanatmani Muni and Balarama Krishna, or Balarama Krishna, you know, I just think this is so beautiful. Last month, you know, when you look at the artwork,
It's beautiful.
Sanatmani Muni is perfectly, his proportions are, his feet, those aren't easy to do. His hands, everything about him is perfect. And he looks like he's really healthy, like he's athletic practically, and highly learned. And the boys have, they actually have sikas, just a slight hint of a sika there. Feel it really close. And I was just wondering, because I wanted to see if they had sikas. Because the artist, I was curious if the artist really, because he didn't place much emphasis on the sikas, you know. But anyway, see how they're eager to learn? Even though God himself, I mean, you know, he already knows everything.
but some of the subject matters, because I did this as a play.
Can we see that?
Yeah. We did it as a play, back in Brooklyn, and they learned the language of the animals,
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
and I mean some very unusual things. You know, that was considered important to God.
And you know, he says that he appears in every, even in the insects and the animals, he appears, you know. Oh yeah, I'm going to share something. Hansaduda said that years ago, he looked up the word genius. I think probably might have used that term. But he looked up in the dictionary, and it was probably an old dictionary. Because nowadays they take out all the good stuff. All the stuff to do with God. So we have one from the 40s, and he said what he found in there was, definition of genius was indwelling deity.
Wow.
Of course, we know that means super soul.
Yeah.
Super soul.
Interesting.
Indwelling deity.
Wow.
I'm shocked to hear that. Wow. Because, you know, he's German. It might have been a German dictionary. And Prabhupada said, you know, that, you know, the Germans have always been very fond of the Vedas.
Right.
You know, so If it was a German dictionary, that doesn't surprise me. But
It'd be interesting to find out what language its origins are from.
German.
Is it German?
What's that? You mean?
Yeah, the word genius, like it sounds, cause that translation sounds like it might be having to do with something with the Greeks.
Yeah, my wife actually, not to interrupt, but my wife, she grew up in a very German family. Even though she's like second, third generation immigrant, but her family totally German. So in high school she learned German. But I know, but a lot of the German words actually are very similar to Sanskrit. So like Lufthansa, right? Hansa, it's swan. Yeah, so that type of thing.
Lufthansa and Hamsa.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I guess you've heard other things, controversial things Prabhupada said about, anyway, I won't get into that. Because he said, well, I'm German, so I've always found anything he said about, that powerful personality who came in their history.
Right.
So he said, my ears always perked up whenever he talked about anything to do with Germany. The Guru Principle. When people hear the words guru or spiritual master, they might think of honorable teachers, exemplary people with whom they or their friends are familiar. It could be a priest, a rabbi, or the local yoga instructor. The words might also conjure up images of opportunistic conmen, controversial swamis who exploit others for personal comfort, wealth, and power. Exactly what is a guru and what do the original Sanskrit text on the subject have to say about it? Krishna, he was given his special, the family priest is the one who performed the thing that the spiritual master usually does.
Name-giving ceremony?
And the thread, I believe also, I believe in the Gayatri Mantra, so Sanpani Muni obviously didn't give him that. He was given to him by the family priest, and before he was turned over to Sanpani Muni. I found that interesting,
Well, there's different kinds of gurus. There's Shiksha gurus, and then there's those who are instructing. Who give you initiation.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're the same ones. Like Prabhupada said in 1975 that Prabhupada had been sick the year before. And so some of his disciples kind of jumped the gun, and speaking of the German, and one other, so it was a little controversial. And then at that Mayapur festival, and it was the first big Mayapur festival, devotees from all over the world, it was about 1,000 of us, and he said, right now there is one, I am your Shiksha, I am your Diksha, but someday there'll be 10, then 100, then I want all of you, all my disciples to be gurus, like that. But so it just depends on the type of guru.
Speaking of, I wanted to come up yesterday, but I've been nurturing my, I feel a lot better today though, I really do. But I couldn't make it yesterday, but I wanted to, if I had made it yesterday, I was going to mention something, which Rajendra Nandana said at the 25th anniversary of serving the separation from Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada wanted all of his disciples to be there, for his passing. And they started making all the arrangements, people to stay there. And I'm sure the big guys all got to go, but little guys like me, who was Prabhupada's disciple and never got to meet Srila Prabhupada, it's like I feel like nobody's really thinking about me. You know what I mean? They didn't send me to see Srila Prabhupada. Once in my life, right at the end, I could have, because we were going to meet him when he came over. We would have gone to where he would have ended up at Gitanagari. We took the deities there even then. We would have met him there. I would have met him there. He was trying so hard to come to America.
Right.
I understand that. But at least I could have, if people had cared, at least try to figure out those. And you've been doing all these books, you've been going out, and trying so hard to see Srila Prabhupada, which is wonderful, But yeah, I think you deserve to go and meet him right then, because you never got to meet him in person,
But everybody then, it was a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And so we just couldn't believe it was really going to happen. And we thought, well, if we just do more books and give him more good news that would revive him. You know, and so, I mean, I also wanted to go, but because I was managing Atlanta, they wouldn't let me go because it was right before
Yeah.
Christmas Marathon, and I was always really upset about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's part of it, but, you know, it's just...
Also, my material father is interesting. For 10 years, he suffered from what that old thing old people get, not Alzheimer's, but the other one, dementia. But my brother never told me just how bad it was. I didn't know he was going blind. And I didn't know how bad it was. Like, you know what I mean? He was in bad shape. He hardly would talk to people. And I didn't know that. He didn't tell me this stuff. I hadn't seen him 20 years. You know, he's not the kind of loving person, but, you know, he led us down a spiritual path. He was a good father in that respect. But one thing I understand was that he started asking people, where are my sons? He had 4 sons, no daughters. Don't I have 4 sons? And I found this out later, you know. I was able to get there 2 weeks before he passed. I was staying there a week. I was in the hospital, and he passed the week after I left, you know. So I was able to, and I saw him chant Hare Krishna.
Oh, very nice.
He didn't do it like Hare Krishna, like that, but an Indian doctor, and I was talking about Hare Krishna to the Indian doctor. My dad overheard that, and he said, I know what he said, he had to listen closely, but he said, he told the doctor, he didn't tell me. There's always a competition, like who could be more spiritual, I guess. That was how he was thinking. Seriously, I never forgave Krishna consciousness for, you know what I mean? You know, he thought he was a spiritual master of the family. You know, he had gotten your ranch and all these things. But anyway, he told the doctor, he said, I know Hare Krishna. He told him, Hare Krishna. He actually said it just a week and a half maybe before he passed. So I know he said Hare Krishna toward the end, and he was thinking about Hare Krishna. I was like, well, I was reading to him too, and chanting to him, and talking to him nicely, you know. Because he comes from you know how the old folks are. His father never hugged him, his father's father never hugged his father. Very stoic people, you know. German background.
Lutheran?
German background, yeah. English, Irish, and German, actually. Yeah. And I'll share one more thing with you. I found out something yesterday. Our last name Lister, you don't hardly ever see that. But I looked it up in the dictionary. And that old 40 from the 40s, that dictionary last night. And it said something I had never read before. There's another definition there beside Lord Joseph Lister, who invented the, what do you call it?
The
Antiseptic surgery.
Okay, gotcha.
But the other thing I loved that it said was, because I'm always trying to go out and preach and plant the seed of Christian consciousness on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, right? But it said that this is the name of a certain type of plow that it plows deep, and it's like a double thing. It plows deep, plants the seed, and then covers with earth.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I said, oh, I like that.
Wow.
I like that. You know? But anyway, yeah, I'm enthusiastic about that. But just like Kansadhu said, that Prabhupada responded to enthusiasm. He said his disciples, he saw, because he served there, I guess he was a personal servant for a while, but he saw that he would respond to those devotees who were enthusiastic about service, or, you know, enthusiastic about serving Srila Prabhupada, even like Guru Kripa, you know, so many other devotees, you know. He saw that their enthusiasm, and he saw that his enthusiasm, his enthusiastic, Prabhupada also responded, you know. So I think enthusiasm is part of our sampradaya.
That's another, if you look
I
up the word
believe.
enthused in the dictionary, it has to do with theos, it comes the spirit of God, you know, like something to that effect, that enthusiasm is that you're infected with, you know, the spirit of the Lord.
Like, especially the Gayatri mantra, you know, enthused. But I'll read a little bit more here. The controversy can be, okay, let's see. First, the question of necessity. For spiritual matters, does one need a guru? Second, just how can you tell whether a person who claims to be a guru is genuine? The controversy can be resolved when one centers on 2 primary issues. First, the question of necessity. Does one need a teacher for spiritual matters? The second question involves a guru's qualifications. Just what makes a person a genuine guru? The Vedic scriptures assert that just as a teacher is required in any area of knowledge, the same holds true for spiritual education. St. Thomas Aquinas, although known to possess a deeply analytical and philosophical mind, nevertheless studied under Albertus Magnus. Aristotle accepted Plato as his teacher, and Plato studied under Socrates. When Krishna came to this world, he accepted Sakyamuni Muni as his spiritual preceptor. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Ishvara Puri. The point is clear: regardless of one's spiritual qualifications, one still requires a spiritual teacher. As the scriptures state, quote, to learn transcendental science, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master or guru in descending succession, Shotriyam. The bona fide spiritual master is fixed in the absolute truth, Brahmanistam, Mundaka Upanishad 1-2-12. This verse not only emphasizes the importance of accepting a spiritual master, but begins to address our second question: what are the qualifications of a bona fide guru? The word Shotriyam indicates that a guru must come in a historical succession of teachers, also known as a sampradaya lineage. Puranas speak of 4 such genuine lineages: the Sri Sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya, the Kumara Sampradaya, and the Brahma Sampradaya. The Puranas also mention the 4 prominent systematizers of these sampradayas: Ramanuja, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, and Madhava. A Vaishnava guru should come in one of these 4 lineages. In addition, the essence of the knowledge taught by the guru must be in accordance with Shastra, the sacred text, and sadhus, the other truly saintly persons throughout history. The guru must also be fixed in transcendence, Brahma Nishtam. Having traversed the path of spiritual illumination, this again should be confirmed by spiritual authorities in a descending succession and by the scriptures. Vaishnava texts describe 3 types of guru: the Diksha Guru, the Shiksha Guru, and the Chaitya Guru. The first 2 offer spiritual light from outside, while the third, the Lord in the heart, lights the way from within. The Diksha Guru serves the function of initiating one into transcendental knowledge. The serious student, if the Christians really think about it, born again would mean taking your spiritual birth and getting your spiritual name from your spiritual master, who is your eternal spiritual father. You know, your first birth is from your natural birth from your mother, and but then your Christians could call it being born again. You know, the serious student is given a new name, indicating his spiritual affiliation with the Sampradaya. The Diksha Guru also gives the student a sacred formula or mantra on which to meditate. The Shiksha Guru functions as an instructor who expounds upon the teachings received from the Diksha Guru. The Shiksha Guru can be one or many, but the Diksha Guru is never more than one. The Chaitya Guru, God Himself within one's heart, enables the sincere aspirant to understand the esoteric significance of the transcendental themes and teachings received from the Diksha and Shiksha Gurus. The Guru gives the spiritual seeker a new birth. This is a spiritual birth in which divine knowledge and realization, Divya Jnana, arise in the heart. By chanting the mantra received from the Guru, one gradually gains knowledge of one's self, of the Lord, and one's own relationship with the Lord. The scriptures say that the Guru is worthy of the highest honor, but if he or she fails to meet the major scriptural requirements for a spiritual guide, such a person should be abandoned. However, if the spiritual master is genuine, having all the above qualities as well as Shotriyam and Brahmanistam, he or she is an indispensable mediator between the devotee and the Lord.
You said he or she?
Oh, see.
Could you
Yeah,
read
sure
that?
did.
Yeah, could you just reread that sentence if I could trouble you, please?
That's good that you noticed that, probably. However, if the spiritual master is genuine, having all the above qualities as well as Kshotriya and Brahmanistam, he or she is an indispensable mediator between the devotee and the Lord. Interesting, yeah. Because, you know, it's self-evident when the qualifications are there, we're all spirit soul, you know, and it's self-evident. As a matter of fact, we make progress by associating with devotees. By associating with devotees, we become aware of our own, you know, impurities. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing. And I'll tell you, one reason why I read so much from the books I didn't used to, but is because I know I'm before a very critical audience. They know the scriptures. And, you know, I don't want to just try to pull something out of my mind, you know. I know that if I read Prabhupada's words, I know nobody can find fault, you know. And I like that, you know. Because I just want to serve you all, and I want to serve Srila Prabhupada, and, you know. And that's why I'm here. It's actually, I was thinking about this morning. It's my duty, you know, it's my duty. I've got to get class on Thursdays, you know. Of course, I love getting class, yeah. But at the same time, you don't want to make a mistake, you know what I mean? And, but we're all going to make mistakes. That's what we do, you know. We make mistakes. But anyway, so that's one reason that I read so much from the books. First of all, I know the words of Prabhupada carry potency. And I like to, you know, think about things, and after I've been around for quite a while, I might mention something that I'm thinking about in class, you know. But it's not that I feel that it's very important, you know. But I do know that I love to hear what other devotees have to say as well, you know. And, you know, back in the old days, you know, we would do the Sankirtan, but so many devotees were doing Sankirtan, you know. But, and I like to hear about what devotees have gone through. And devotees have sacrificed so much, you know. Devotees have gotten beaten up doing Sankirtan. So I heard in Chicago, especially, they could catch you by yourself. They could pull you off into an area and beat you up, you know. Never had that happen, you know. Fortunately.
That changed after Prabhupada came through that airport. There was a big change with the workers. They all gained respect for him.
So that continued, because I know when he came through.
After Prabhupada came through, it stopped.
It really did. Oh wow. Wow, I never told that. But yeah, we have to. I know Sikh Vichidari is always talking about following up. You know, there's another term for it also. When we meet people who are sincere, I follow up with them, but there's cultivating them. That's what it is. And it's like after we went zonal, you know, and eventually I just sort of drifted off to California, you know. And I mean, I was doing in St. Louis and everything, Graceland, but then Tamal Krishna Maharaj wanted me to go to Dallas, so I was there maybe a year and a half, you know. And after I went to zonal, things that I wasn't able to collect as big as I used to, but I still got to Dallas Airport. That was nice, you know.
I mean, what if you're still being harassed by people? Like there were different stages where one thing is there was the clickers. They would come around and had these little.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're trying to talk to somebody and they just stand there going. You know.
How close did they get, Prabhuji?
Pretty close.
Really? Yeah.
Then you have to get a restraining order. There's a lot of other things.
That reminds me of what do they call it? Bourbon Street, yeah. Because but the danger is that it might be some guy who's drunk, and he comes up. I remember I was talking to this nice young lady who was probably giving a donation, and then he just comes up, cuts in. I'm talking to her, cuts in, makes her feel really uncomfortable. You know, she's probably 18, 19. You know, and here he is right in her face, and you know, cutting in and drunk. You know, and she started feeling really uncomfortable. I could see that. It's like I was backing off. You know. And then, anyway, so she got out of it pretty quick. Yes, Roji?
No, nothing.
Okay. But, so the interesting thing is, this is so strange. I have to think about this, some of these things. But, so he wanted to fight after she left, right? He wanted to fight. He was half drunk, first of all. And he was serious, you know. So I just moved on down a ways. And then he came on down there, and he wanted to fight again. So I said, sir, you're really intoxicated, you know, and I know you can fight real good. I also don't want to hurt you because you're really intoxicated. This is a young guy. And anyway, so then I moved on down further. And he came on down there too. And then same thing happened. And it was getting more intense each time. Now I'm not quite sure how this happened, but I was standing right in front of the famous place with they make those hand grenades. It was right on the corner. Anyway, so I was standing right in front, and I knew the guy that was the security for this place behind me. And at some point there, I said, "Here, sir, I have something for you." I don't know how he got, because he was so mad at me, he wanted to fight so bad. But I had a garland, and I put the garland on the guy.
Oh, far out.
I don't know how he let me do that, but he's half intoxicated.
Right.
I guess. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird how it happened. But anyway, and he wouldn't let up on me, you know. So anyway, so what happened was he told me, he said, just step one step backward. That's what he told me. The guy, the security guy, because he knew me. So I did. I stepped one step backward, which put me inside of the, what do you call it, bar or whatever, you know. So I was inside their property. And then he made some kind of phone call or something, you know. So, hey, 3 or 4 minutes later, this black windows, it is a really fancy, like a Camaro, no, I think it was a Mustang, something like that. And the black windows, and by that time he kind of wandered over across the street, still carrying on. And they pulled up, and the guy just disappeared. They put him in the car, you know, drove up. Yeah, that's the secret police, you know. Yeah.
Well,
He didn't explain who they were or anything. I just watched what happened.
They don't, well, first of all, we've developed a good relationship, at least we used to, and there's a lot of crime in New Orleans,
Yeah.
but not in the French Quarter. I mean, there's certain things that go on there that are sort of what you would call, what's the term? Anyway, it's not going to harm anyone. So, like maybe someone smokes some weed or something, you know, that kind of crime, because it's not affecting anyone else. So, but when someone is being violent or anything like that, I mean, it's very rare that there's murder in there, and every day there's several murders in New Orleans. There's in the newspaper, but not in the French Quarter. I mean, they take it very serious. That's their mind. That's where they make their money.
I've heard a lot of stories because I was working on Bourbon Street. A lot of interesting characters, you know. With Mother, what's her name? Mohansini, yeah. Anyway, so here's one story. On the edge of the French Quarter, there was a parking deck. In that parking deck, one day in broad daylight, they robbed a police officer. He was just getting out of his police car, and he had his weapon on him and everything. And they robbed him.
Oh.
Yeah. I said, are you serious? They robbed an armed police officer. I said, well, that's pretty gutsy right there, you know. But stories like that, you hear really interesting things like that, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty rare.
Anybody else have a comment, question, or anything?
What was that book you read from last?
Oh, yes, probably. You can get it. It's a wonderful book, The Hidden Glory of India. They're usually over here. Oh, yeah. And I just tell people, I love to distribute them, especially, I like to start buying these, you know, to get out to special people. And when I see 2 pages, you find out all about Hanuman, you know, or anybody out there who reads this. In 2 pages, they find out all about Hanuman. And they have beautiful pictures, you know. Yeah, like National Geographic.
Let's into the next.
And people will say, yeah, I'd like to
Who
get
put it
that.
together?
Who compiled that one?
Stephen J. Rosen.
Okay.
Yeah, all about the drama, all about the music, the modes of your nature, the Vishnus, expansions of Krishna,
All good stuff.
Buddhas, Buddha, early Vaishnavism, the roots of Vaishnavism, Ramayana, the Gita, the Bhagavatam, and its contents. Beautiful picture of Radha Krishna right there. Beautiful. But yeah, it's a real nice, really Christian conscious. And 2 pages. It's always 2 pages.